is one of the greatest guitarists, musicians in the history of rock. He's a rock and roll Hall of Famer, and he also puts a lot of time and energy into some great causes, including one coming up this Sunday in the Tacoma Dome. Let me welcome the great Joe Walsh to the Dori Monson Show. Joe, what an honor to have you on with me today.
What a great introduction.
I try to make my guests feel at home, Joe.
Well, I feel like really good after that.
I tell you what, I feel really good about what you're doing at the Tacoma Dome this Sunday. It's called Vets Aid. It's a great cause. You're raising money for our veterans. And this is a pretty good lineup you've assembled for this show. Joe, tell me about it.
Yeah, it is. And I thank the world of my peer group for stepping up. You know, asks like this are kind of uncomfortable for us. We all ask each other.
Yeah.
And it's really complex because either people are on tour and are already playing that night, or they're recording so they don't have a band together.
Right.
So you just put a bunch of asks out there and just hope that they don't all say yes.
That'd be a good problem to have.
Too. But Chris Stapleton is coming. He's great. Don Henley, it was actually his idea. He said, I probably owe you one for Walden Wood, so
nice.
I'll come.
Okay.
And James Taylor couldn't initially, but called back and said, I managed to change things around.
You got Ringo Starr, too?
My brother-in-law, Ringo, he's not even American, but he said, it sounds like too much fun. I'm coming.
I like it.
And then, you know what? Drew Carey was a Marine, and he said, I'll come.
Nice.
So Drew Carey's going to kind of be the MC.
Wow, that is a lineup. And so the money for Vet Aid, where does that go, Joe?
There are a lot smaller Vets Assist Centers, mostly between the coasts, usually run by a vet, and they don't have any budget. And so Vets Aid takes a look at them. We make sure their affairs are in order.
Okay.
And we talk to vets that they have helped. We make sure they're able to keep going.
What a great cause, because, in these divisive times, Joe, I think if there's one thing we all should be able to agree on, and that's taking care of and honoring and providing for all the men and women who, put their lives on the line for all of us and for our freedom and for our safety. And there's no better cause to unite people than what you're doing here.
I agree. This feels good because it is nonpartisan.
Yeah.
The sad fact is there really is no support structure in place for the guys that are coming home from Afghanistan.
Right.
There really isn't anything, and we've never fought a war like this. More people are coming home that need prosthetics than were killed in combat. There's more suicides than were killed in combat.
Yep.
And the transition from Afghanistan back to civilian life is just too big of a mountain to climb for most of them.
Well, and what I love, Joe, is not only are you doing this concert, which is going to raise a lot of money, but I saw that you're also having a Vets Aid job fair close to the Tacoma Dome on Sunday, which is Veterans Day. So you're helping them make that transition. And I applaud you. It's a great cause, and it sounds like that's going to be a great lineup that you have put together, too.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah, the job fair is great. We've got a bunch of companies and corporations. Alaska Air is one of the sponsors.
Nice.
They've been great, and Boeing has jumped on it too. But, just because you have a prosthetic limb, it does not mean you're handicapped.
Sure.
It used to, but now it doesn't.
Yeah, they've made great strides with all of that stuff. So
Yeah, they have, and the people just need training, and that's one of the big things we do. But the job fair is just to get people hooked up.
nice. Well, it's coming up this Sunday, the concert at the Tacoma Dome with the great Joe Walsh, his Eagles bandmate Don Henley. And, Joe, I've never had you on the show before. I got to talk a little music with you here, too.
Okay.
All right. This was called by Rolling Stone the third greatest guitar solo in the history of rock. Can you take me back to when you guys first started working on this? Because I've seen all the clips of, you and Don Felder, just vibing with each other as you play this in concert. And take me back to when you knew that you were working on something that was special and timeless and, just something that was going to be around forever.
Yeah. Okay. That'll be fun.
Tell me about it.
What we would do
Yes.
is everybody would bring in what they got, and we'd put it on a big coffee table. Now, I don't mean this literally.
Mm-hmm.
I mean like ideas, bits and pieces. Rarely did everybody have a complete song, but we brought in what we got, and we put it on a table like a big jigsaw puzzle.
Okay.
And spread it out, and then tried to fit pieces together. This goes here, this goes here. These three things might be a song. This isn't part of that. This is another song, right? And that's how we would start.
Okay.
So we got this idea. It was Felder's idea to have like a descending line, and that's just the walk down of Hotel California.
Okay. And I guess
Yeah.
I guess I'm not as musically conversant as many. So what do you mean a descending line?
Well, the song starts with the note dan 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 dan.
Right.
Each different chord has that bass note.
Okay.
So that's what I mean by a descending line.
Got it. Okay.
Okay? So we threw all that out, and then what we would usually do when we got something that had enough of it together so that we could put it on tape, we would go out in the studio and we would do a demo.
Got it.
And that would just be the show so far, whatever that was. And then we would give it to Don and or Glenn, and they would take that and write a song. And in this case, this one, Don said, I got this. And then we waited about a week, and he brought it in. And he said, we've got to change the key, so we have to record it.
Okay.
But I've got the words. And this could probably be the title track for the album. So we changed the key and recorded it. Now, this was just support guitars, bass, and drums. We always did that first. And Don went out and sang on it and had to plug in what he had come up with what the song was, right?
Yep.
So that took a couple days.
Okay.
And we just left him alone.
Okay.
And then he played it for us.
And what was your reaction when? Did you know that it was something? Not just magical.
Well, I'm not going to swear, but there are two words, holy, and the second word started with an S.
Okay.
Okay?
I got it. I think
All
I
right.
can fill in that
that's what
blank.
your reaction was.
Yeah. You just
So
knew.
then Glenn was really the producer. He knew how to write songs technically, how to structure them. He was brilliant at that. He was the arranger.
Yeah.
So he gave Felder and I some instructions as to where he thought guitar should be. And then Felder and I said, well, look, one of us should put on a part that is complete up to the end.
Okay.
And then the other one of us will put on a part that is complete except for the end. But what they should do is start to turn into a two-part guitar part that we play together.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's you and me first, and then it's us. And then at the end, we'll have all of that down, but over that, we'll go at it.
And you did indeed. Yeah, I mean,
and you hit me with your best shot,
right?
And I'll hit you with my best shot. And we were pretty competitive. So, I mean, he really kicked me in the butt.
Yeah.
With his part.
Right.
So I had to step up. And, you know, I wouldn't have played like that unless he was all over me.
So he pushed you. He elevated you.
He pushed me, and I
vice
pushed
versa.
back.
Yeah.
And that was the magic of that song, because we were going, oh, yeah, watch this. And that's how the song came together. And I think that magic, rather than just a performance, two guys really going at it, is the magic of Hotel California.
Yeah. That is the best explanation of that song I've ever heard. That's awesome.
That's lengthy, but
that's
there
okay.
you go.
That's okay. The great Joe Walsh is with us. He's going to spend the rest of the half hour with us. Joe, with Don Henley, with Glenn Frey, the vocals of both of those guys, but then, you know, you come in with songs you wrote like this one. It must have been challenging. You had such a great voice, but you're also alongside two of the greatest vocalists in rock history, in Henley and Frey. And was it tough getting your foot in the door vocally with so much greatness around you?
Well, I always felt intimidated by them.
Yeah.
Because they're so damn good.
Yeah.
But when I brought that in, like I say, when we had the jigsaw puzzle, Don and Glenn said, hey, you know what? That is an Eagles song.
Absolutely. Yeah,
you brought that in pretty much. You've written it, but that is an Eagles song.
Yeah. No, it's a signature song.
And that's why I joined the band. When I heard the Eagles and the records before I was in the band, I thought, man, what I could do to have vocalists like that.
Yeah.
What I could do to have that to play guitar on would be amazing.
Yeah.
So I was hungry for that. And when they asked, of course, nobody thought it would work, but I said, yeah. I'm in.
It worked about as well. I mean, biggest selling record of all time. How long you been sober now, Joe?
25 years.
Man, congratulations. What a fantastic accomplishment. You were like a wild man, weren't you?
Yes. I wasn't alone.
No, I know that. I've talked to some of your contemporaries who have told me about that. So when you're on the road now, you're hanging out here in Seattle, waiting for your Sunday concert in Tacoma, it couldn't possibly be a more different life from what it was, 30, 35, 40 years ago when you were trashing a hotel room. That's got to be a pretty different lifestyle these days.
Oh, it is.
Is it?
It is.
But
I'm older now.
Every bit as exciting?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
In terms of the craziness, I've been there and I've done that, and I know how, believe me. But with the internet and all, those days are gone.
Well, and you came through the other side alive. And
I did.
Yeah.
And that's pretty amazing right there. A lot of my buddies crashed and burned,
I know it.
But I decided, when I was trying to figure out why I was still alive after I reconnected with God, I think that the reason is to have a little shining light saying that there's life after addiction and it's good.
Well, and I was looking on your website and I see that if people make a donation to help recovering addicts. That's pretty cool after all those wild boy days that you spend your time now just trying to help people. I really admire that.
Addiction is something that we as a country need to look at.
Yeah. No,
because it's rampant.
Yeah, no question about
it is like an epidemic. And when you think about it, everybody you and I know is on something.
Oh, yeah. When I was thinking about getting you on and talking with you, just the scope of your career, what are you proudest of?
Well, the thing that does it for me is when people talk to me or write me a letter and say, I was down, I was hurting, I was in trouble, and your music helped me get through it.
Yeah.
That is the best payback that there is. Ego-wise, the Kennedy honors ain't bad.
Yeah. That's
but
right.
For me, man, when somebody got sober because they watched me do it,
yeah,
and has a life now and has kids and a family, when somebody lost, a family member,
oh yeah,
and helped me through it, that's it. That's as good as it gets. To just make a difference in somebody else's life is huge.
Well, I tell you what, man, you have definitely been part of the soundtrack of my life. From the Eagles to all of your solo stuff. Oh, and I'll tell you something else real quick before we go. Your episode of Live at Daryl's House might be my favorite.
Yeah, that was great, wasn't it?
Oh, my God. That's a great show. I love that. But the one with you was really fun. Enjoyed the heck out of it.
His secret, he had such a great team.
Yeah, I can tell that.
They always got the first take.
Yeah.
They didn't stop you in the middle of the best that you ever played the song because they had a technical problem.
Right.
They always got the first take, and in something like that, the first take is usually the best one.
Yeah, no, it's just great stuff. Joe, I can't tell you what a pleasure it is to have you on. It's, like I said, I've just been a fan since I was a kid, and it's a treat for me to have you on my radio show.
Well, look, buddy, I don't agree with you on everything, but I love your take. You keep going.
Okay. Oh, I wish we had
It's important that you're on the air.
I wish we had time to talk about the stuff you disagree on. I could set you straight, Joe.
Well, that's a whole other story.
Okay. All right.
That's a whole different interview, but I'll have a go at you.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's do that again sometime. All right,
All right, buddy.
Joe Walsh is headlining Vets Aid at the Tacoma Dome this Sunday. Don Henley, James Taylor, the great Chris Stapleton, Ringo Starr. Have a great concert. Thanks for all you do, Joe.
God bless America.
Amen, brother. All right. Thank you, Joe.
Bye.
The great Joe Walsh joining us here on the Dori Monson Show. We got lots more straight ahead as we roll.